There we go. Um, Welcome. This I'm going to just call these Sam Says, and they're just going to be chats. And I did make notes about what we can talk about, but the reason I decided we need to do this is because we can feel what's going on, right? Like you can feel stuff building. I'm not the only one that can feel stuff building, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So,
All
um,
building.
what's that, Sequoia?
I said it's all building right
It
now.
absolutely 100%. And so I have a unique perspective because I've been following the financial stuff. I also, um, early on, I mean, I knew it had to do with finances. Um, I've since learned a whole lot more, but, but the breadth of topics, I went wide in my knowledge, if that makes any sense. And whereas lots of times people, they would hone in on vax or hone in on common law or hone in on the, I don't know, the religion or the spiritual side of things. People honed in on different things. I went wide except for in the area of finances. And about 6 months ago, whenever it was that I stopped, I really felt like I needed a break, like I needed real people, but there was just so much happening. And I just thought I'll just take a couple weeks. A couple weeks turned into a couple of, it just kept going, right? And but I'm going to say that 6 months is probably probably the hardest 6 months of my life, because I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know who I was. And so coming back and sharing comes from a different place than I was 6 months ago. Because when you stop and you know that being on the computer, is kind of not working for you, you don't really know what you're going to do or who you are, that's probably the hardest journey, the biggest journey that we'll ever take. And it's a lifelong journey that we're always going to take, right? But it's from that place that as things started to gel and to morph, it's like, hey, I kind of like this person. Like, there's so much more that I wanted to do with my life. And all of a sudden, dreams and goals and visions that I had when I was like 19 was like, well, why not? Who cares if I'm 59? And so, Kelly knows this, and a few other people know this. One of the things I always wanted to do was I wanted to dance, and I wanted to do gymnastics. And I started to research yoga, because in my mind, yoga was like adult gymnastics, but it had been very poo-pooed by the church. And so I did some research, and in order to learn, I ended up signing up for a yoga teacher training because it gave the breadth of knowledge, right? And at the end of that, I was like, oh my goodness, I actually really like it. And now I'm a yoga teacher, and I've never done yoga before in my life. And so I started working with my niece, who teaches movement and dance, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I like to dance. And I'm sharing this for a reason, you guys, not because I'm crazy. But I like to dance and I like to move. And so now we actually have dance class happening in our basement. We turned into a studio. And along the lines of that, it's like, well, okay, what did I want to be when I grew up? I wanted to be a teacher. Okay, so I'm teaching and I'm writing. But the other thing I wanted to do that I never did was design. And I did a portfolio to go to design school, and I never completed it for no reason. I never submitted it for no reason that I can figure, other than I had it drilled into me that if you did not have a career, you were never going to make it, right? You got to go to school, you got to get a good education, you got to, get a good job so that you can make some money and you can have a lifestyle. And design wasn't going to cut it. So I'm now taking an interior design diploma, certificate, whatever you want to call it, but it's like a real course. And mostly for the last 6 months, I got immersed in the financial system. And I did it because I wanted to continue to learn the new system. I wanted to learn And somewhere along the line, maybe 3 months ago, it's like, okay, even though I didn't start with a whole lot of money, all of a sudden it's like, I better treat this seriously, because when things move, this is an investment portfolio. So even though I started with $500 and, it's kind of adding $20 here, $50 here, $100 there, just kind of added to it along as I went, all of a sudden the what's in what I have now is like trillions of tokens that are connected to the price of silver, or XLM, that is connected to silver. And so, you get to a point where all of a sudden your perspective on life changes, because in those trillions of tokens is companies and currencies and commodities from just about every nation on the planet. And so I have this unique perspective because I've been able to see what's coming, unfolding on the new financial system. So a while ago, I said, okay, that's it. We got to gather together, because I love these connections. And if you guys can put your videos on, that'd be even better. It's not that I don't want to see Suzanne and Sequoia, but real people having real conversations. So there's a group of 6 to 8 of us, depending on who shows up. We meet every day and we talk about what's going on, and we talk about what we're doing on the financial system, and we share tips and tricks and stuff. And along with that conversation, it's like, Sam, you need to just get out and start sharing again, because in the last 6 months, the depth, it's not just the breadth now, but now it's more the depth and the realization of what is coming and how good it is going to be is very top of mind. And I really want to share that. So yes, I really do want to do a live event. And yes, I do have a course. There's Sky. Hi. I've compiled that into helping unlock a vision, like a new vision, one that's not limited by the political, the policies and the financial resources, and even like age and time. All we've ever known has been limited. You've only got one life to live, right? And I really believe that comes from revelation, but a lot of that comes from letting go and then really reconnecting with who we are. Like who are we? Right? And so when I say that we're going to have conversations about mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, relational, and financial topics, that's the whole point. But I think probably a big mission is to remove the whole concept of limitations, and right now, financial anxiety. And I'm specifically saying financial because financial anxiety comes up when we look at our loved ones who have, kind of who are under that spell. So I'm going to open up my chat, and I'm going to ask if anybody has anything specific you want to talk about, because otherwise we're going to do a couple things differently in this journey of reconnecting. I've also really shifted not my thinking, but it's like my body got focused on health, and I didn't intellectually kind of go out to go, okay, I'm going to get in shape. It didn't really happen that way, but I've given up coffee and caffeine, and I drink herb tea. What's up with that? That's never happened before. And I've been obsessed with going outside and getting fresh air. And in the summertime, just walking barefoot, that was also never, ever, ever heard of. And these things, they start to, like, when you start to pay attention to them, you could say, oh, your body's changing. Well, yeah, my body is changing, but I already went through all that, sort of menopausal stuff. And health has become really important. And relationships above all else. I have a different perspective on how business is going to be conducted. And there's a lot of people that are super fearful on AI and digital IDs and all of this other kind of stuff. And to that is where we need to talk about, who are you listening to? Because if you listen to one thing without being able to verify, or if you let that negative in, it'll find you. But if you make everything, if you know deep in your core that good is coming, then good will come. And so we're going to share that. So I opened up my chat. Is anybody, or if you just unmute yourself, does anybody have a question? Because otherwise, in my bid for health, I actually am going to introduce you to, I'm going to call it my sponsor, but instead of just, pouring out and pouring out and pouring out, I've been connected to and collaborating with the other people. So I'm going to run my sponsorship message in a second, but let me find out if Sky, do you have anything that you, or like anybody here, is there anything that you want us to talk about?
I'd like to say something. So guess where I just was? I'm in Langley. There, can you see?
Yeah.
That's Langley.
Yeah.
And I was just at Superstore, and a girl was ringing the bells for Salvation Army and learning disabled maybe. Anyway, I stood and sang with her for the last 50 minutes.
Oh, fun.
Almost an hour. And
yeah.
And all these people start putting lots of money in. It was so fun. And anyway, so I got to talk with her a bit. It was quite good for my soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Sing, dance,
sing,
like get outside. Like so I've put in some of my messages about energy. How much research or how much information do you guys know about the energy grid or the vibrations of the earth and the sun? Is that a topic that resonates at all? And there's an energy word. Because go ahead, Sky.
So I spoke with someone the other day. They said that their girlfriend, who is Muslim,
mm-hmm.
she can read people. Like mm-hmm. I think we just know if somebody's real, if somebody's a good person or intends to be towards being a good person. I mean, we all. Anyway, so just how we need to be in tune with ourselves, with our maker, with this beautiful earth, and people will be drawn to what they're supposed to be drawn to.
Yeah. So, Joe is my husband. We learned a long time ago that everything has a vibration and you can measure that. So I have my glasses in my hand, or a rock or something. Even a rock has a vibration. Plants and food and everything has a vibration. And all of that stuff is connected. So the whole concept of being connected vibrationally and energetically is a measurable fact. It's a measurable truth. The earth has a vibration and it's measured. It's called the Schumann resonance. The sun emits solar activity, and that comes to the earth as radiation. Everything is a vibration and everything connects. So when Sky says she's singing, that is a certain vibration. If we absorb the bazillions of people are going to die and we're all going to be microchipped and they're going to come knocking at the door and take away your guns, and who knows, like all this stuff that they're just throwing at, like it's just absolute chaos. If we absorb that intellectually, it affects our energetic reality. And so in terms of how things function, we have to get to know that our thoughts create an energy. They create a vibration. And it's pretty simple to actually intellectually grasp. Your thoughts, they create, your brain connects to your heart. Your heart is where your emotions come from. Energy in motion is your emotion. And from your emotion, you will make a decision. You're going to be, your brain and your heart are always going back and forth, right? So you make a decision, which then determines your action, which then determines your results. So all of that, though, it starts with your thoughts. What we are experiencing right now is a war for the battle of humanity. There's no other way to say it. And it's coming at us through information. So I got fortunate because I don't like scary movies. And so I went looking for the good because this movie was way too scary. And so if you have any doubt right now, ask me, and I'll do my best to direct you to a topic for you to explore so that you can get that. Because if you get the knowledge, it will make a way to your heart where your emotions are, so that you can then make decisions, because emotions are energy in motion. If your emotions are weighed down, then you will make decisions that are based on being weighed down. And I'm not speaking that from somebody that is always yoo-hoo, because what happens is as you get past your head, your heart becomes more sensitive. And right now we can feel it, whether we intellectually know it or not. We can feel the weight of the collective energy, or called the collective consciousness of mankind, collective consciousness of the planet. Everything is changing. And because we are really close to that precipice where the bad guys are right at the end of their eradication, the energy is way more erratic because they're just throwing out everything they can, trying to take out as many humans as they possibly can on the way. They're like a kid throwing a temper tantrum. And all this stuff, well, oh, we got to petition this and we got to do that. It's not going to work. And I don't mean to poo-poo anything, but the current system is completely dead. We have confirmation, firsthand confirmation of all kinds of military activity in, I'm just going to refer to Canada right now. I don't know who Carl May is, but I think everybody else here is Canadian. We have confirmation of worldwide military activity. This is a worldwide military operation. And if you are not familiar with it, then get on my Telegram channel and then start following some of the channels that are talking about the military activity and showing the planes, because we have confirmation that our people masquerading as politicians in Ottawa are gone. We are under military occupation, and we have been for quite some time. All we see is that that's a negative thing because we saw the lockdowns and all that. That's not the case. The military is there to serve the people. We have to realize that in this state of transition, we can't just let most of the bad guys go. They have to all go. And that's easy to see if we go back in history, because ancient civilizations tell a very, very different story about how we got to where we are. The Khazarian mafia is rebranded a bunch of times throughout history. Khazarian mafia is really, in our current iteration, was the Roman Empire, which became the Roman Catholic Church, partnered with the monarch and Washington, D.C. for military action. If that's new to anybody, that three-stranded cord there, then you need to go, there is places, let me think, where would be the best place to start? On sampiercy.com is a link tree, and I'm adding links to it. I will add the link so that you can get the list of links and start going through the history, because our history is 100% a complete and utter nonsense lie. And you can see it with your own eyes, but you have to have the eyes to see and the ears to see, ears to hear. Humankind has been around for a very long time, not 5,000 years. The stars tell us differently, and we can we can see that. I'll also use this right now to say, if you haven't gone through the 12-part video series that I produced last year, there's a good introduction to the breadth of topics. We have to know where we came from. And the fact that we can know where we came from right now is a really good indication about who's in control, because the information is getting out. Even though it is full-on information warfare, it's information warfare because it is a battle for humanity. If we actually knew how powerful we were, this never would have happened. But we have been programmed for generations and generations and generations. We have fallen under this deception, and through then tools of lies, politics, and finance, they have controlled education, they've controlled science, they've controlled communication, they've controlled entertainment. And if any, I don't think this is new to anybody here, but if it is, the depth of it, the depth of our depravity is pretty gut-wrenching. And the reason that we're talking about it is because I really see and feel that there are too many people that still think that this is going to drag on. And if we think it's going to drag on, guess what? Thoughts, energy, motion. If we think negative thoughts, we create the negative. If we think about the beautiful future that we're going to, we accelerate the process, because our ability to create with the power of our mind is so powerful, but it's been taken from us. One of the topics I started with what do you call it? Language. I got really, because I was mad. I mean, my story is this. A dear friend and mentor ended his life through medical assistance and dying. And there was a bunch of stuff surrounding that. It was just really a miserable situation. And I got mad, and I just said, okay, God, I need to know who you are, and I need to know who I am. That was my two things. And I was mad. So I went to the book of Revelation. The revelation of Jesus Christ is how that starts. The first word, revelation. Those first 5 words really changed my life. But revelation, as I put in my post a little while ago, revelation means apocalypse, an unveiling of deception to reveal the truth. Apocalypse only became connected to the concept of doomsday in the 1800s, when the Bible colleges were created. At the same time, the educational curriculum was created. The revelation is the revealing of the truth, the revealing of who we are. I asked a question. This is not very palatable to a lot of people. It definitely wasn't palatable to me. But I said, okay, that's a revelation. What about of? Why is it of, not from, not at? Like, or what is, why of? Well, then I went to the next word. The next word in the book of Revelation is Jesus. I said, okay, so if this is like the most holy name above all holy names, why did it get changed to English? Like, it's just a question I asked. If you go to some other nation where they don't speak English, do you convert your name to their language? I don't know too many people that do. Some people do, but not very many. But if you had the holy name, why would it be converted? Why wouldn't it be whatever it was? Because even if it was, Joshua, why did we convert it to English? English, the language that was chosen for trade and commerce. Trade and commerce, finances based on maritime law. Why would we convert the name Jesus to English, which is about trade and commerce? So I did some research, and I discovered that there's actually 2 meanings to that name, not the ones that we've been told. One of them is common man. Well, that's pretty cool. But the other one was earth pig. That's negative cool. And so then but that started it, because there's this polarity, right? Good and evil, good and bad. You know, why does everything have to be polarized where it's one or the other? So we think that, like, I'll just use the serpent, for example. We think anything to do with the serpent is bad. Well, throughout antiquity, no, the serpent actually was good. So you could say, well, it's reversed, but you could also say that a lot of things that were good have been used for bad. So then I went to the next word, which is Christ, and Christ is actually Christos, which is the empowering. And so those first 5 words are actually really cool. The unveiling, the revelation, the knowledge of the way things work, of the truth, of the common man, of the empowering of the common man. That's really cool. Because now with that truth and that, just those first 5 words, just getting into the symbolic meaning from etymology, which is available if you have a Bible app. Etymology is available on most Bible apps, and you can definitely get it online. It's acceptable in universities. You can look at the etymological meanings of words and components of words and characters, because then you get into alphabet. And here's a really cool thing about alphabet. I'm telling you this because if you want, I mean, most people want to know right now about the financial stuff in the news, but I'll tell you about alphabet. The alphabet came into being around 5,000 years ago. It used to be, I mean, I'm sure there's been other periods of time, but the greatest growth in literacy was the introduction of this simplified alphabet, not hieroglyphics. And we would all go, yay, people can now read and write and they can communicate, right? I write a lot. I write books and I read books and we get information. But this guy that we listened to a little while ago, he studied the impact on culture, and realized that a lot of our culture, the way we have it today, lines up with the introduction of the alphabet. And so he started to study it, and this links back to thoughts. Each character is a symbol representing something. So that character has an energy, and you put them together and they form words. And we learn spelling, right? Spell casting in school. We learn to recognize these words. Learning to read and to write and to make that connection is actually a left brain, logical, linear thought process. And every human being has a right brain and a left brain. We all have a masculine and a feminine. And so that learning to read is reinforcing our left brain, logical, linear thinking, and then taking what we read and bringing it down through our right hand for most people means that we have become very left brain focused at the expense of our right brain. Our right brain is the seat of our emotions, the seat of our energy and motion. That's our intuition. That's how we can just know, like Sky said, right? Like you just connect with people. You just kind of know. Our knower knows. Our thinker is limited. The two together is where we get our critical thinking and how we are so powerful. But it's the feminine, which is in men and women. We're not talking females. We're talking the masculine and the feminine. The emotional side, the seat of emotions, is connected to the right brain, which is connected to the feminine. And the combination of those things is what makes us so powerful. So we have what we believe is this highly advanced civilization is actually very, very limited. And we have become increasingly limited because of the way the spelling and the language has been delivered to us. And that is probably as important, if not the most important thing, because the finances is a tool, but the bigger tool is how they have used the energy, the symbolism, the characters, and the energetic vibrations of things like the letter A. Like, who knew? And even now, I'm like, oh, we have to learn how to speak again. We have to learn, we get to learn how to speak again. We get to live our life all over again. And so when I say, revelation, we got to first of all start with who we are and really know who we are. We need to know where we're going. We need to know that we are not heading into a cataclysmic event. We are not heading into slavery. We have been, for hundreds of years, progressively becoming, sinking further and further and further. We've been programmed to be a slave class where everything funnels up. And that's a gut-wrenching, like that's a sucker punch. That hurts. So I'm just going to pause for a sec. It's 4:30. Anybody have questions? Okay, Daryl Johnson does something on Revelation. Cool. I like Daryl. Or Daryl or Derek?
You know of him probably. Daryl Johnson, he's a senior prophet, a regent. Mm-hmm. And this video my sister Janice sent me, it's so powerful, and you feel like you're in the room with John, and Jesus is saying, hey, look over there. Look over there. That's something more about me. Look over there. That's something more. Like, it's like total revelation after revelation, and using color and light and dimension. It's just very powerful. Anyway, I liked it, and I passed it on several times.
There is nothing outside of us, is what I need to say to this whole, wrap this conversation up. Nothing. The whole concept of God out there is a made up construct to separate us from the source of which we are all connected to. And that was taught in the early church. The Gnostics that were eradicated were practicing, or the mystics they sometimes call it. That was taught how we were all one. And there are prayers that are attributed to Jesus about that. And we have had a couple thousand years of having that taken away from us, so that we are all operating separately from each other and from creation and from, so Sky's right, like, just, it's all around us. We are all part of that. That's why grounding is so important. That's why breathing is so important, because it's not just that we're breathing in oxygen, we are actually breathing in that life force, that consciousness, that energy into our physical being, and then we breathe it out, and we're all connected. And that's so important, because we feel this. We are not separate. And it's not that it's good or bad, it's that revelation of what has happened and who we are stepping into this beautiful new future. And that's where people get stuck, because we have been separated, and we still think that these systems that have been in place are functioning, and they can't be, because otherwise we wouldn't see all this ridiculous chaos, right? They would have snuffed us out a long time ago if they had the ability. They're trying hard, but they can't. Okay, so any questions? Because I'm going to, I said I was going to pay my sponsor message at the beginning, and I was actually going to do an exercise, and then I'll answer anybody's question on any news if you want. So
I actually like to add in to some of the things you said, about the energy and about everything that is out there and being connected.
mm-hmm.
And you know what has been totally forgotten in obviously you talked about education is you know, we're focusing always just on us human beings, and we are really you know, we may talk about being connected, but we really don't know what that means. If
Mhm.
I say this is because I mentioned this as from my experience, because I have gone through teachings in eco-psychology, and basically what we do is we do most of the work in relationship to nature. So for instance, we talk about psychology, which is all about us, right? The human. We talk about ecology, which is about nature, but we do not connect both. And
Yeah.
so we're totally disconnecting those. And so in all those teachings, everything you mentioned is, you know, is we get worn out about all of those things that happen because we can really not connect to the
Yeah.
natural world, because we are part of the we're not just part of the natural world, we are the natural world as much as we are, you know, we are the humans. But the animals, the plants, and everything is all that energy that we are connecting. And when you mentioned the language, it's, you know, once we go and sit and learn to what is really the nature, and then take that to our own personal lives, then we begin to feel, you know, that we are connected. And once we, then that also has an impact in terms of language, because when we are connected with the natural world, then we understand the natural world, and we begin to understand their language again. And I
Yes.
think that it goes back all the way back to
Yeah.
the
And that
original.
has been vilified.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
it has been totally vilified, and yet that is um, studying ancient civilizations is a very, very, very enlightened, and ancient history is so enlightening and so powerful. There's some really good Telegram channels for, I think it's called Secret History. If you have not looked at anything Tartaria, get my list of links and just start with Stolen History, because it tells you how the nature of things is all connected and how we work. And from that, it also helps to get a vision for where we're going. That's why I've said, you know, for about a year now, I'm waiting for my flying car. And there's stuff now that's being shared about the, you know, stuff that we would call a flying saucer, but it's part of the military right now. The US military, or the alliance military, is got flying saucers, anti-gravity machines. And it's like, what the, you know, forget UFOs. They're just, that's because it has been stolen and taken from us. So those things are important. So I'm encouraging everybody to follow the military action and to follow the finances. And you cannot follow the finances by listening to crypto. You have to read between the lines, because crypto is dead. But if you know that sometimes crypto is referencing digital asset backed, like Ripple or Stellar is what I've been talking about all the way along in the quantum system, then you can get clues. But if you're following crypto and you're trying to get invested in crypto or figuring out what's going on with crypto, that is a deep state agenda. The artificial intelligence is the negative artificial intelligence and what they have done and been using against us in their communication, that is very, very dark. So the same thing, artificial intelligence can be good. They're saying digital ID, they're saying all of this, you know, social credit score and yada, 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 is because that's all to do with centralization. There is, and we can glean so much from the Bible. But we also have to know that the Bible has been used against us as well, right? So the Tower of Babel, the word Babel is the same as Babylon. Babylon, Babel, right? Language, spelling again, but language is a technology. So in the book of Genesis, we had the Tower of Babel and the centralization of technology, of language. and then it was decentralized. And you could say that the language got confused, and which the Bible does say, but that's not good if you are the bad guys who are trying to control the world. That's a good thing if you are the good people and we're just trying to live our life the way we do, fully empowered, creative beings, able to produce way beyond anything that we could ever ask or imagine, because we can imagine, our thoughts can imagine things. So can you imagine what the future will be like? Here's my big question. And actually, maybe we'll do this. We're just going to keep talking about this. Can you imagine our world with no monetary system? Nothing, nada, zippo. And if the answer is, I can't, then we've got to step back and go, how will we get there? Because we are the only species that has to go and work for somebody else and pay to live. The concept of earn a living, what other word sounds like earn? Earn, ashes, dead. Not cool. Earn a living. We have to go to, basically we're killing ourselves to put food on the table. What does life look like when the moment you were born, everything and anything you could ever possibly need to become your full, vibrant, powerful, purposeful self is provided for? These are questions that we have to ponder and just close our eyes and start asking the questions, because we're not going to get there right away, because there's still people driving around in their cars with masks on. There are still people that are completely oblivious to what's going on. There are many, many, many people that are so sure that the sky is falling and you better run for the hills and you got to do this and you got to do that, because they're coming. They're coming. They are not coming. The military is in control. The military is for us. There will be martial law. There is martial law right now, because in Canada, I can speak for the States too, the US has been operating under continuity of government and martial law since 2016. Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief of the military. They put him there to be the voice and the face. And if you haven't followed Derek Johnson, or on Telegram, it's Rattletrap 1776. He does an incredible job of explaining all of the different executives orders and the law of war manual and like historically what's going on. SG Anon is somebody else who's talking about the military operations. Captain Kyle, also on Telegram, shows the military operations. Personally, a good friend of mine, her son was doing he does heavy equipment, mechanical stuff. He was going out like logging roads off the Coquihalla. And if you're not from BC, the Coquihalla is our main highway from the coast. And so he was off the Coquihalla on a logging road somewhere, and there was a military roadblock. And he was freaked. It's like, what the heck? He's not awake to what's going on, but he knows his mother was. So he had to show his work order to go and fix this logging vehicle, but he phoned his mom, and it's confirmation that they're doing. Oh, he did manage to say, because they were wearing their garb, their camouflage, but no identification. And so he said, "Are you Canadian or American?" And all they said was, "We're not Canadian." And so then you can go, ah, the Chinese or something, like if you're afraid, then your mind can go into all kinds of different things. Oh, what kind of energies are we putting out when we do that? But when you know that there is this worldwide military alliance, we had the Nigerian military in Ottawa a few weeks ago. I didn't even really think about a Nigerian military, but they're part of the alliance. Were they doing in Ottawa? Don't know. Doesn't matter, but they're part of the alliance. So it's a covert operation, because a big part of the military operation isn't just get rid of the bad guys. It's the revealing, the revelation, the unveiling of mankind, of human beings. We have been programmed to live limited. Everything we've known has been limited, fearful, left brain, linear, logical thinking, which is limited. Just think of all those L words. And it's all the spell casting, right? But try to imagine more than enough for anything you could ever possibly want or think of to do. As soon as you thought it, you could go do it. You get up in the morning, you don't have to go to work. You don't have bills. The heck is a bill anyways? That's a term that comes from maritime law. You don't have bills. Everything is free. Replicators. Has anybody not heard of a replicator? Do you know what a replicator is? Did you ever watch Star Wars? Star Wars is a good example of a documentary. A replicator. You can replicate anything in seconds. So then what do you do with your time? You spend an awful time learning. You spend time with other people. You spend time creating things where you value anything that is handmade, because anything that can be produced with a replicator that you would ever possibly need, you don't have to go and you don't have to buy stuff. You don't have to own anything. So when the World Economic Forum says you will own nothing and be happy, it's kind of true, because we own everything, right? So where we are going is the bridge. It's the bridge. This quantum system is bridging us. And there's a tidal wave of confirmation if you start to pay attention to your emotions. If your thoughts have been receiving the this bill and the that bill, and they're coming for your guns, and they're coming for the kids, and their kids can end their life with medical assistance and dying without parental consent. I mean, that is just, they're grasping at straws. And I'm not saying it's not horrible. People are dying. But our job is to increase the vibrations, because there's a ripple effect. It goes out. So to pay attention to our bodies, pay attention to our breath, pay attention to what we're thinking of, to become aware of our thoughts, to become aware of our breath. Why do you think it was a respiratory issue? Why do you think they wanted masks? I mean, there's lots of reasons, but our breath is unlimited. It's not just breathing in air, it's breathing in life force. Oh. Okay. Question. I am going to play my sponsorship message too, just so that you know. You have to watch it. It's supposed to be at the beginning, but whatever. Anybody comment?
Hello.
Yeah, Sequoia, you can ask it.
Yeah, I just I've got a lot to say. I'm originally from the Oklahoma Choctaw Nation.
Nice. Yeah.
That's very nice. It gives me chills to even say those words.
I love it. Love it.
Mhm.
Cool.
So I mean, I've got information to share, boundless information, and I was set up to do things in another dimension.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's our natural way of being, the more you look.
yeah, but I had a very crazy
Mhm.
entrance. I when I was younger, I met up with our relatives from other realms.
Mhm.
They would come in to where I lived and just shake back and forth a few times, and they would go ahead and take off. And I
Yeah.
never knew what any of that meant as
Mhm.
a young man.
Mhm.
And I it's a heck of a story.
I think I believe with everything in me that we are going to learn so many incredible things. One of the things that stands out, um, does anybody follow much to do with Q, the military movement for Q? One
Yes,
of the things, sorry, yes, no,
a
if
little
you
bit.
if you don't, start to pay attention, because that has been confirmed, like, and confirmed and confirmed and confirmed as time gets closer. But one of the things they say is that even those that are awake are going to be shocked. And I consider myself in a short period of time to be fairly awake to the breadth of the corruption. And in our group that meets every day, we talk about this, even we're going to be shocked. And so to be prepared. And I
One,
think we're
oh,
sorry, so go ahead.
excuse me.
Yeah.
No, I can tell you that I'm a long way away from ever being shocked again.
Yeah. Well,
I've been,
it's a good way to be.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been taken to other dimensions.
Mhm.
I've been put in spacecraft and taken to other
Oh, wow.
places.
Yeah.
I've been to just about everything you can imagine. I,
Nice.
as a young man, I was in the American military as a
Mhm.
Green Beret,
Mhm.
and I uh, I well, just I'm just going to leave a lot short here.
Yeah, just
I at one time I disappeared. Nobody knew where I was, and and I was found in a field
Mhm.
where I had passed out. And when I came to, I had no idea where I was, what I was doing. And I ended up living with people way down on the southern coast of the United States.
Wow. Was this a good experience
It was
or
a
a
great,
negative?
it was a great experience,
Yeah,
and it
there. Okay,
still is.
yeah, that's cool.
I've been taken to dimensions
Mhm.
that other people have no idea about. Lots of them, many,
So
many.
if this is that for anybody that's listening, is that a new concept for anybody here? The whole concept of dimensions and, kind of being,
No,
we would
we're
call
already
them,
in five, Sam. We're already in five, and my stargates are in 10.
yeah. Okay, so that's
So
not new to you. Yeah. It's not new
wherever
to me
you,
either, but a lot of people it is. They're like, what the heck are you talking about?
you're
Yeah,
just trying
carry
to
on,
figure out
Doughboy. Yeah.
what 6, 7, 8, and 9 are. That's all. And you'll
Yeah.
be informed when you need to know on a need to know basis. Most people vibrate between probably 3 and 4.
Mhm.
Any ones that are awake.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. And the whole concept. So I think we might have talked about this when I did that Zoom a couple weeks ago. In the 1970s, there was a move. There was two things that were sort of competing, but they were both created at the same time. One was the Jesus movement. The other one was the New Age movement. And in the New Age movement, there was a group called the Fifth Dimension, and they had a song called "The Age of Aquarius." Do you guys remember that? The dawning of the age of Aquarius. Well, we all sang it, and we all thought it was really
Aquarius.
cool. Yeah, Yeah, from
Aquarius.
the fifth dimension. Like, yeah, so how many, what was that, 50 years ago? This has been known. This time has been known. All of this was planned. And so,
Are you Palladium or are you serious?
no, I'm Palladian.
That's a
Did you think so? Yeah.
that's a joke because you're either Palladium or are you serious?
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Oh, from Sirius. Well, does anybody, if you guys all seen our new star? Have you seen our new star? It's called Sirius. One of
Is
the
she
first
named,
things,
Sam Percy?
what's that?
Is she named Sam Percy?
No, ha ha ha. No, but one of the first things you really have to get into, you really got to kind of get your head around is, what age are we living in? So the book of Enoch was very specifically taken out of the Bible. So there was others, but there's a few things left in, and you can get the book of Enoch downloadable as a free PDF. There is a couple of references. Well, there's many references to the heavens and different stars. And lots of times they actually are referencing the heavenly clock, the zodiac, or in the book of Job, they call it the Mazareth. And that is, the ancients studied that. It's a 26,000 years for a full rotation. And each of the 12 zodiacs around the outside are 2,160 years. Every 5,000 years or so is when there's something major shift. And when there's halfway between the 26,000, so at 13,000 years, there's always a major shift. So 13,000 years ago, roughly, is when we had the flood and the cataclysms, and most of humanity was wiped out. And there's a planet that blew up and is now circling around in our galaxy, that caused a lot of this stuff. If that's new, it's well documented in many sources, but it's not mainstream. Okay, but what we do know is that every civilization talks about this great flood and these great cataclysms, and a few people did survive by going underground somehow. You know, God only knows how, but most people did not. We are at 13,000 years. But at one 13,000 year cycle, there's like polar shifts and all kinds of great energetic shifts. The other 13,000 year cycle is the exact opposite. There is nothing we can do. So when Q says nothing can stop what is coming, it's because the entire universe is working to bring this together. Right? The earth is shifting in its vibrations. The sun is putting out all kinds of new energy. The whole cosmos is changing. We are rotating. And that's extremely important, because in terms of your check marks, if any kind of anxiety comes in, just go stand outside and look for that new star. It's the brightest star in the sky, which is super fascinating at this time of the year, because we always talk about the Star of Bethlehem. Well, Sirius is that new star. And so, yes, I am very serious about that star. And, you know, the majority of people that are living through this right now, I'm going to say the majority, lots of people call them star seeds. So when Boboy says, you know, are you Palladian, or are you Sirius, or, you know, Andromedan, or, you know, any of these other kind of things, you can go and look at that, and all of that. You guys know, if you don't know, you definitely will now, that I have a very strong biblical background. I was a leader of a Canadian Ministers Association. And when I started to read the Bible very differently, I saw this stuff in the Bible. Pleiades is referenced in the Bible 7 times, I think. Maybe 9. I can't remember, 7 or 9. You see things very differently when the veil is lifted, which is what Revelation is all about. And so I'm sharing from my heart, because I've had enough people kind of encourage me to say, Sam, you're so optimistic. You need to share. Like, nothing can shake me. It's not to say that between here and now, I don't have, like, you know, people are dying and they're buying into this stuff. And it's horrible, absolutely horrible. I did think, Kelly, you know, and Boys, even we took down our common law notice from the building because I'm done with this. You know, I can see what's coming quickly, but I actually thought for half a second, maybe I'll put it back up again. The common law notice is, you know, do not trespass. But what I know, then I go back and I look at the military activities. The military is here for our benefit right now, not the bad guys. And we have lots of confirmation about that going on worldwide. We had confirmation just a few days ago that Australia is clean. Brazil is about to be clean. I also had some confirmation that I haven't double checked with multiple sources yet, but I'll tell you anyways, because we know about the BRICS nations. The BRICS nations are all gold backed. And so we know that the base level of the quantum financial system is gold. So all the BRICS nations and BRICS nations plus, because it represents a growing number of nations, are all gold backed. And then silver is where people will do their transactions. But there was I'm going to just say one of my sources, but I didn't confirm it with multiple sources, that the only nations that are still using the current USD are Canada, Mexico, and the US. Everybody else is now trading on the gold system. And that makes sense to me because about a month ago, the new US Treasury note launched in a digital format on the quantum system. And the US Treasury note will be available in digital format and in a physical format in order to facilitate the transition. So this shift is not something that is going to take years. It's right here at our doorstep. I own personally in my wallet that is fully asset backed, fully transparent, fully open source, fully immediate and secured. I own a lot of that US Treasury note. I can show you if you want, but the point is you have to know. You have to find that knowing, because it's in that knowing where your energy flows, right? It's the energy in motion, but it starts with your thoughts. If there's a seed of doubt, then the ripple effect is doubt. And you make decisions based on this conflict between your right brain and your left brain, because all we've known is that left brain, logical, linear thinking way of being. And that is absolutely, I mean, that's limited, but we are unlimited beings. As Boboy said, we're in that fifth dimension, but our collective consciousness, our collective awareness, our collective revelation, our collective energy has to know that we are one. Like Sky said, you just go look at the trees and you look at this and you start singing with a complete stranger for an hour. How powerful is that? There's a reason why they wanted us 6 feet separate, because then 6 feet is you can't see the ends of my arms, but the 6 feet is the average person has a 6 foot energy field. Oh. You know, there lots. I'm just going to go to some of the other stuff that they did. That once you know, you can see it. Masks, yes, the breath, right? We're breathing in. It's our life force energy. What's the first thing you do? What's the first thing that happens when a baby's born? Breath. What's the last thing that happens before you die? Your last breath. Okay, so they've attacked the breath. But the other thing people said, well, advanced artificial intelligence. Yeah, it's true, but it's not the negative kind. It's the good kind. And I know because of my involvement and my commitment to find the good. And when I got onto Stellar and I could see what was going on, I can see all of these companies and like that have been taken over. I own a bazillion shares of BlackRock, or tokens of BlackRock. I own a bazillion Google and Microsoft. You don't get on there unless you are fully compliant with the transparency and all of the other protocols that go along with the ISO 20022 protocols. The only way those companies that have totally been used to support child trafficking and human trafficking and all these other horrific corrupt crimes is because they have been taken over by the good guys. And that is also confirmed if you were following the takeout of executives and CEOs and the stepping down. Jeff Bezos is a perfect example of that. Forever, he was talking about how he wanted to control trade and commerce, and he was going to build this big empire, right? Forever. There's university courses studying Amazon and Jeff Bezos. And all of a sudden, he decides to step down to pursue philanthropy? Yeah. No, that was the cover story. Then you got to go back and you got to look at what happened in 2016 and 2017, once Trump came in, because that's the full-on military occupation. Military good guys, not bad guys. There's a movie playing out because it's competing now, good guys, bad guys. Cleaning out the military, cleaning out at all the bad. When Trump, the first thing he did was he went around to all the different nations and they all signed off, and we all saw that. We saw him go to Saudi Arabia. Okay, what's the importance of Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia provided the oil that enabled the petrodollar to exist when everything came off the gold standard. We're not going back to a gold standard. We're going back to asset backed. That's very different. Okay, so the Saudi Arabia, they didn't just meet with Trump. They actually had their sword dance and crowned him king. And then he actually went into North Korea. He went to Israel. He did all of these things as a military exercise. And then the Saudi crown prince, he went because he was saved. He was the target at the shooting in Las Vegas. He went and he met with the heads of all the companies and said, you're going to play by our rules, and these are the rules. You've got a part to play. There's a lot of people talking about Elon Musk as one of those people, that he was going a certain way, but he was kind of playing both sides, and that his role, because he's clearly playing a role that is the good guys. That's so obvious when you get on Stellar and when you just look at what he's doing with Twitter. That doesn't change the fact that he was kind of not so good before, but in 2017, 2018, there was a massive campaign that was led by the US and Saudi Arabia to get all the heads of these corrupt companies taken out or on board, and they knew what their role to play was. And there has been military tribunals going on, massive military action. So what we're seeing in this crazy clown world that we live in right now is the competing. It really is waking us up and getting us to go look further. Who are we? What's going on? Because it's super good. It's after 5. Anybody else have a question? Otherwise, I'm going to play my sponsor thing, and I'm going to direct you to where we can get more information, and I'll keep doing these and maybe come up with a theme every time. This one I wanted to be about Revelation, because I started with the book of like I said, I started with Revelation, and it just changed everything. But I've been having conversations with some very close-minded people that I know. And I made a decision somewhere along the way that I would believe nothing and believe everything and believe nothing all at the same time. And I would take it in and I would filter it through and, take the little pieces and then pull stuff together. And everything came together when I started to see it on the Stellar Network.
You still there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just want, I was a Green Beret in Vietnam.
Yeah, you said that.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And you know, the whole thing here is kind of slowing me down. That I was taken into many, many places in many dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like an opportunity at some point to share some of these things with you.
Why don't we do a like a Q&A so that people can hear your story?
Mhm.
Well,
Why don't we
I've got
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
story I have is a long story. I mean,
Okay. Well, we'll have to keep it, within reason, but
Mhm.
you can share some of the highlights that would benefit other people in their own
okay.
journey of understanding.
I was
Not today, Sequoia.
not today.
Yeah, not today.
Yeah,
We
no,
might-
not today. We'll book a time and then you can give me kind of a little bit of a write-up. And because those kinds of things, those are personal encounters, those are personal experiences.
This
And
is
we
way
learn-
beyond.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
we learn from that. I would be honored to kind of do an interview. And I'm super happy if you guys know somebody else that has something really, different or some inside knowledge. I get my inside knowledge. I just went looking for the good. I couldn't handle the negative.
Mhm.
I consider myself to be a wimp, but I went looking for the good. And I'm still, Bo Boys is here. I hold fast to, I saw that piece of paper that said that the land of Canada had been given back to the people because it was always ours to begin with. But I saw that piece of paper. And from that moment on, I knew that those people masquerading as, government, they have absolutely zero, they have no authority other than what we give them. Now, does that mean that they can't do damage? Of course, they threw people in jail because they had the strength. I'm not saying that it wasn't, that it
Grand
hasn't
jury
been
document.
bad. What's that, boys?
The grand jury document you're talking about?
Yeah, like, well, the stuff that came through, no, the stuff that came through the United Nations and the High Court in Hague, that stuff.
Yeah.
That started this whole journey. Bobois is the headsman for the peoples of the salmon. But there's more than that, because we think Canada is a sovereign nation. We were never a sovereign nation. It's a joke. It's just such a joke. It just makes your head spin. And then you're like, well, where do we live? And how does all this stuff work? So all these crazy things that they're calling laws that they're passing, they're not worth the paper they're printed on. The only reason that they can make this happen is because they can make people believe. Believe is a construct of your brain. It's not a construct of what's real. Right? What's real is what comes, that energy and motion. What's real is your emotions. If you believe something, it's in your head. It's a head thing. Logical, linear, limited, right? Left brain stuff. So we believe that they have power. We believe that somehow the courts are going to do good. We believe that I don't know, whatever it is we believe. Obviously, there are some people believe that by putting a mask on when they go outside, they're going to be safe. But that doesn't make it real.
It seems like they're coming up with a new bill every couple of weeks to drive us crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
wondering, Sam, before you start your video, can I
Yeah.
just find out where each of these people are?
Yeah, I'd like to know too. I don't know the name Carl May. Carl May, if you're there, I'm interested.
I just want to say also, we're having a dinner, like it's a Christmas gala on the 15th of December. Judy and I, Judy, my sister. So we've been
That's how I know
organizing
you.
this and inviting everybody who is interested in just knowing that there is such a thing still as freedom. Anyway, so it's a Christmas gala. We just want it to be real fun, and people are invited. That's all.
We
And
are.
we're
Where
the
are
Christmas
you?
tree.
Where are you, Sky?
Langley.
Oh, in Langley. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit far from.
Canada, the whole of Canada is my home. I've lived across the nation, so. And
Scott, do you want to? Why don't you put your email in the chat?
Okay.
And then anybody that, so, because Susan is on the coast, Kelly is on the coast, Bo Boys is on the coast. Dee Lee, are you Danny Lee? I don't think I know Dee Lee. No, if you be able to say hi, that would be great. So, okay. Well, so the best place to find me right now. So Sky's going to put her email in the chat. If you want, there you go. The best place, I'm most active right now on Telegram. I'm starting to share more on like Instagram and Facebook again. And the course on developing or creating your 100-year vision will be online. I'm working on that. And then out of that, there will be an event to go through. 100-year vision. I'm 59. It's about creating your life and your legacy unrestricted by anything. It's kind of rocked me a little bit, even just thinking about it. But we get to live life all over again, you guys. We need to start thinking big vision. When I said, what is life? Can you imagine life without any money? No money at all. And think about all the objections that your brain will come up with. But then think about how we
Stellar is then Stellar and the tokens and all of this is, you do not consider that as money?
I do, but that's a transition.
Okay.
I don't know how long that'll be.
Okay.
Let's say it's a couple generations, or it's at least a generation, you know, according to the Exodus, in the biblical Exodus, took 40 years in the wilderness, right? So, you know, I don't know how long it'll take, but I do know that it's a transitional system, because we have to rethink everything. And so I'm encouraging people to start now to imagine it, because what that system offers is freedom. You cannot do corruption on that system. Everything is fully asset backed, so it's got full value, and there's more than enough. But you can't just go, somebody calculated, and I have no way of verifying this, but the amount of money that is being, that has been confiscated to come back to humanity, of 8 billion people roughly, represents 5 billion in today's dollars per person. Can you imagine? You're like living in a shanty, a shack somewhere, or a kid in the garbage dump, or even just us. All of a sudden you wake up one morning and you got $5 billion in your bank account. Like, that's too big of a jump. So we don't even have the mindset. There are still people that are still thinking that we are not free, that we are, that this system is enslaving us even more. The second you think that is the second that energy goes out, right? Thoughts are energy. And then it creates an emotion and it vibrates out. We can't think that. So what does it look like when we have more than enough? But in order to get there, we have to have a vision. And when you have a vision, then you start to tap into your creative abilities to produce, and your passions and your purposes. And you start to figure out, well, I'm really interested in that. So then you've got to learn about that. The money will be there, because money is a made up thing. But the transition is, we have to know who we are and where we're going and what we want to do. And then from there, we can go get the money. It's not like you're going to have to grovel and you got to do a credit check and you got to, you know, be a certain way and have a certain amount of education and yada, 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 all the other kind of crap that they've thrown at us. You have to have a plan and a purpose. You have to have a vision. The resources are no longer an issue.
Yeah. So our son, he's 22 and he's finished, he just finished university, but he has this opportunity to go to the LLC in the Laurentian Center in Ottawa and be mentored by somebody great. Well, he still has to pay to go there, right?
Yes.
But that is great. He's interested in that. The money will be there. We have no money.
It'll totally be there. Yeah.
Where do you? Yeah. So I have to tell him that the money, just go through the hoops.
Yeah.
And
like, the hoops are going to be the hoops.
Yeah.
This is what we all have to get at. We have to really grasp this. The hoops are not like, you don't go get the money from the bank because the money just prints it. And all of that was predetermined at the moment that we were born, what you could and could not get. That goes away because the value in the land belongs to the people, for one. And for two, all the stuff that's been stolen is like, there is more than enough, right? We don't have to pay for anything. Energy is free.
Yeah.
Everything we could want. So once we like dive into that, and you will be so, first of all, you'll be mad. You'll be like really mad because all of this technology and all of these things have been hidden from us. And then to think that we've lived like this, thinking that this was normal. And then you can get excited about it because, like you just said, Sky, your son has got an opportunity, but he needs the money. Well, money, the concept of money, it comes out of the worship of the lunar culture. Money is moon. The concept of money is completely made up. Even the concept of trading gold and silver is still a made up thing. We're transitioning. And the transition is the quantum financial system that is fully backed by real assets, not tied to not tied to a price underneath something so that it goes up and down together. We will no longer be measuring wealth by what we accumulate and what we own. We do not trade in order to grow money. Our wealth is about how we contribute to the well-being of humanity and creation. Our wealth is what you do with the skills and the passions and the opportunities that you have. So if you've got something that is going to improve your knowledge and your skills so that you can then contribute that skill and that passion to improve the lives or to improve a system or a function or a whatever, great. There it is, presented.
There it
Nobody's
is.
there.
Like, there
You
it
don't-
is. Like, I feel like I've been raising a prime minister. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to be. So
Yeah, because that's another system that's changing, right?
right.
Because we don't
That
need to
too.
be governed. We govern, and then we
That's
have
true.
people,
Yeah.
and then
That's
we
right.
have people.
Self-government. I know.
Yes, exactly. But there are people with skills and passions who fill
Mhm.
certain roles in order to make things run efficiently. But they don't govern us. They work for us,
Mhm.
right? They are the employees. We are the owners. It's really cool. But you put people into position that have the skills and the passions and the desires in order to look after certain aspects to keep society functioning. Are we going to get there instantly? No, but the sooner that we start to have these kinds of visions about the new world, about what the world should look like, should have looked like, could look like, will look like, and then we share that with other people, the more our collective consciousness, our collective mindset, our collective vision goes out energetically, and we then become the conduits or the catalysts for change, because we're all connected. It's not any one of us, all of us, which is why I think I finally took the hint that, just start sharing and sharing the vision. You gotta, I'm gonna help facilitate unlocking of visions and
Got
lifting
it,
up
girl.
there you go. Okay, look at that. It's an hour and a half. I'm gonna share my screen for half a second because I said I got really into health, and I'm just gonna share and share and share. But one of the things that is important is that we all look after ourselves. So there's like whole new business models and all kinds of things that are happening. So if you can see, this is a company and this is actually a product, a product that has been subjected to this kind of complete manipulation, because it used to be prolific all over the earth. It was then prolific just in the sort of the South Pacific. and then it was concentrated in Tahiti. But it does seriously everything. Everything. You can drink it. I put it on my neck a while ago when my neck was really stiff, and I was like, oh my goodness, now I need to put it on the other side because it was so incredible. Like, it's, this thing does everything. But of course, does anybody want that out? No, of course not. So so Joe and I've started to, I want to say, not just take noni, but use noni. He's got an infected tooth right now, so he's using it for gargling. It's just, they use it for everything. And I'm just going to show my little 30-second video, because the company itself also escaped from the BlackRock bankruptcy, which is also really, really, really cool. So it's a great, it's now oh, come on, play. It's now a $300 million, debt-free company that's starting all over again with really cool things. Okay, what does that say? Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay. Oh, you know what I didn't do though, is I didn't, just a minute. Can you hear? I forgot to share the sound. Let me just stop for a second. I forgot to share the sound. Bother. If I'm going to go through this trouble, I want you to listen to it. Sorry, that's just me being excited. Okay, here we go. Share screen, share sound. There we go. Click. Yes. Dun, 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 dun.
Can you hear it? Turn down the volume. The earth is calling. Our greatest healer, source of noni, the original superfruit, overflowing with powerful antioxidants, adaptogens, and phytonutrients that protect us day in and day out with just one daily serving. Tahitian noni juice, nature's original immune booster.
So that's some way that you can support me, you can support yourself. And it's something that Joe and I used to take it a long time ago. And all of my links are now at sampiercy.com. It's my link tree. So these kinds of things, we got to look after ourselves. We got to look after our relationships, and get out and move and feed your body so that energetically you're alive. And I like the story of Noni for obvious reasons. It was,
When was the bankruptcy?
Oh boy, a few months ago is when it became public, but it was before that, because the tokens representing BlackRock was one of my first purchases, which was 6 months ago. So it was, let's see, it's December, October, maybe September or October is when it became public. Yes, this year.
Wow.
Well,
So-
I think it was
so-
before that, but so this company that kind of escaped from there's going to be tons and tons of companies that have this ripple effect. So this company that escaped from the BlackRock bankruptcy, this fall. It blows my mind that we haven't heard more about it. So I just happened to get on the inside scoop of that one.
So Noni was owned by BlackRock?
No, well, they were funded. They got funding. They were a public company. There was a group of other wellness products that were all under one company, and they were a publicly traded company. And then their funding, it wasn't just BlackRock, it was BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, the three biggest. So I know, I was like, oh, that's not good. So whatever happened, I don't have all the details for sure. I just know that they got funding from there, and that either got pulled or something. And they managed to get funding from internally, and they are now a $300 million debt-free company with some really kick butt wellness products, and Noni being one of them, which again, another conspiracy, right? You can only get it the one way. The other thing, that if you know about that type of company, relationship marketing, there's two types of businesses that I really believe are going to be really key in this transition period. One is cooperatives, working in cooperation. And the other one is networking. Network actually means an energetic of, energy working together, which is really cool, because a private corporation, the reason that it was one of the first parts of maritime law that was created, and then shares and stocks and various things was part of their structure in order to manipulate the wealth, in order to limit liability and create privacy. That doesn't belong. Corporation means dead. It's a dead entity. So, lots of things are transitioning. We don't, like, the whole concept of stocks and share ownership doesn't really line up with where we're going, but tokenization of value definitely does, right? Real value. So how it looks in the short term, somehow all of this fakery is going to have to come down to real value, and then it'll be available as a token as opposed to a stock, because a stock represents something that is manipulated. It's circular ownership. If you haven't watched the documentary called Who Runs the World, or Who Owns the World, then, that's really an eye-opening hour. That it's a link on the link of links that in the link of links, because that's all information that's available from Yahoo Finance and public records. Who owns what? They all the way right up to the top. So I'm thinking of a ton of really good network marketing companies that have really great products that have gone in the public route. That's not cool. It's really not cool. There's a ton of great products. There's a ton of great companies that have been funded by this cabal system and controlled by that system, that are hopefully, going to be able to take the value of their products and their services and carry on without the money. The money system is got to go. And then the new system will transition us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
So
Sam Pierce.
so Noni is not owned by BlackRock. It's not on the stock exchange at all. Okay.
Nope, not anymore. No, not anymore. It's all private. I mean,
Thank you.
it's all like, it's no longer a public company. Yeah. Yeah. So, there you go. They're going to be my sponsor, and it's a way that you can, we can kind of partner together while I'm developing out courses and stuff. So, okay. Anything else? Send me a message during the week if there's anything you want to chat about, or we'll cover news if you want. And like I said, I'm mostly sharing news on Telegram, and all the rest of the shenanigans are Instagram and Facebook. And the developing your 100-year vision is coming. Get out of our limited concept of what's possible, and let's go beyond any of that stuff. I'm super excited about that. Anybody have any parting words?
Where are you?
Pardon?
Where are you?
In Lumbee.
Oh yeah. Right.
Lumbee's in the Okanagan.
Are any of these other people in Lumbee?
Nope. We don't know anybody in Lumbee. Kelly knows. Kelly visited me. A few people have visited us. It's not that we don't know anybody here, but it's a town of 1,800 people. And the last couple of years have been very lonely, very
Really?
quiet. Oh yeah. Yeah. So we like visitors.
It has a great thrift store.
Yes.
Best I've ever been to.
Why? Why? Where's the stuff?
Well, where does it come from?
old
Because
clothes.
the surrounding area, we have like big acreages and ranches. It's a big horsey community, Sky. Big ranches in the surrounding area. And oh my goodness, I've got BCBG, I buy Lululemon, I've got a couple of my favorite Italian shoes. Tina, who's not here right now, Tina came up and we happened to stumble in there at the end of the month when they had a $10 bag sale, and not like a little bag, we're talking a garbage bag full. And so Tina and I, we just kind of gathered up some stuff and we realized that we didn't each have a full bag. So we put it all in one bag. We spent $5 each. We had 41 items. 41.
Okay, we'll go to Lumpy.
So our average cost was 25 cents.
Aw,
I got a leather coat for that.
beautiful.
A guest leather coat. Yeah. So
Nice.
there's
And you had a wedding recently.
yeah, a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, I think. So anyways, yeah, come visit. We are going to do live events for sure. And you guys in Calgary, we're right in the middle. You know, it's good. Okay.
I just want to say, I'm looking forward to hearing our former Green Berets story. I'm very, very interested, extremely interested. And I have a bunch of people that would love to hear your story. So let's do that.
This is
send me a
not
message
just-
and send me an email and we'll set up a time and then we'll chat about it so that we can kind of frame the questions, because yeah, I'm really interested in that too. There's a lot of people, like Kelly said, that you know, personal stories are the best way to learn. I love it. Oh, that's
These stories here I'm talking about are going into many different dimensions. Many.
Yeah, that's good. There's a lot of people that are really interested in that, Sequoia. You know, we wouldn't have even understood the concept of it a couple of years ago, and now all of a sudden
you're not going to believe this. It's going to be
Try.
hard.
We'll look forward to it for sure. Yeah, send me a message and we'll figure out a time. It'll be awesome. Yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
We'll do one of these Wednesday calls.
Okay. Sounds good.
I just picked Wednesday to do kind of updates and, you know, let's build some hope and just chunk stuff around. So, okay.
Okay.
Sam says over and out. Love
Yeah.
you. See you.
Love you.
Okay. Bye.